Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and Dean Smith is the new Norwich City manager. He was only just sacked by Aston Villa the other week. He's already back in work and he's got the gig to replace Daniel Farke at Carrow Road. But it nearly wasn't Dean Smith. For a long time it looked like Frank Lampard was going to get his second chance in the Premier League after being sacked by Chelsea at the start of the year. So what I want to know is, have Norwich made the right decision? Using Football Manager 2022, I'm going to give both Dean Smith and Frank Lampard a crack at being the Norwich City manager, and we'll see who comes out on top. Has Delia Smith made the right decision in giving Dean Smith the job, or should they have appointed Frank Lampard instead? Let's dive into the simulation, let's find out. Okay, here we are at the start of the simulation, the 26th of July 2021, and we are going to start with the official new Norwich City manager, Dean Smith. He's arrived at Carrow Road. Obviously in this simulation you have a full season to do what he wants in a yellow shirt. In reality, he takes over the club, who are currently bottom of the Premier League. A massive task ahead of Dean Smith following his departure from Aston Villa. But he'll be hopeful that he can maybe prove Villa wrong, that they should have kept him, and that he can do the impossible and keep Norwich in the Premier League. But can he do it? Let's simulate a year into the future. Let's see how Dean Smith gets on replacing Daniel Farke at Carrow Road. Let's go. Right, here we are a year into the future, the 13th of June 2022. It is the end of the season. The bad news is that Norwich City have came rock bottom with just 25 points. The good news is Dean Smith is still the manager. He is still employed by Norwich City. Things clearly haven't gone well for Dean Smith, but he's still managed to keep his job despite Norwich sitting rock bottom of the Premier League. Let's look at the table in a little bit more detail. They got 25 points. They were 12 points shy of survival. Only 6 wins all season, 7 draws and 25 defeats. And a goal difference of minus 43. An awful season from Norwich City. Let's have a little look at them in a bit more detail, see how they got on, see if they had any half decent wins. It was a pretty rough start, to be honest with you, for Dean Smith. I mean, Christ, even in pre-season he couldn't get a win. Battered by Arsenal, lost to Man United, lost to Everton, drew with Leicester, beaten by Crystal Palace, drew with Newcastle. More defeats. The first time he got a win as Norwich boss was on the 30th of October 2021. A 2-1 win over Southampton, and then after that a string, 6 defeats in a row, 8 games without a win before they won 1-0 at Burnley. They got a win over Newcastle, a win over Brentford. February was a good month. They went the entire month undefeated in Cup and Premier League. And they haven't picked up any real big wins. They beat Leeds against April. That's a big-ish win, I guess. But then again, Leeds aren't quite as good this season as they were last. They beat Wolves, who went down. But the end of the season with a 3-0 defeat to Burnley. And they were relegated to the Championship. I mean, they were down long before that. I mean, considering they were 25 points and only 12 shy of the team in 17th, they were relegated for a long time. So it's been an awful season for Dean Smith and his new crop of players. I mean, who was his star? Max Aarons, and he looks to be on his way out of Newcastle. Awful stuff from the Canaries. And they are going down to the Championship. We'll see how Dean Smith gets on in the Championship. But before we do that, let's see how Frank Lampard does in the Premier League. We're going to go back to the start of the simulation. Only this time, Frank Lampard will be the Norwich manager. Can he do better than Dean Smith? Let's find out. Okay, here we are again, the 26th of July 2021. There is Frank Lampard, and he is the new Norwich City manager. Talks eventually collapsed. I mean, I don't know whether Lampard withdrew or Norwich withdrew. It was them. Maybe they decided they didn't want Lampard, or maybe Lampard didn't want to manage the team rock bottom of the Premier League. Who knows? But what I do know is that in this simulation, Frank Lampard is the Norwich manager. Can he do better than Dean Smith? All he's got to do is get more than 25 points and possibly not come bottom. It's not a massively difficult task, but I mean, can he do it? Let's simulate a year into the future. Let's find out. Okay, the good news is Frank Lampard, well, it's not good news for Norwich fans considering they've appointed Dean Smith, but the good news for this simulation is Frank Lampard has done much better than Dean Smith. He's got 11 more points and he's 1 place higher in the Premier League. The bad news is they're still going down to the Championship. But the better news, the best news, everyone, Chris Wood, Golden Boot winner. Come on, first time with FM22, you love to see it. But let's check Norwich out, 36 points there. Let's just check Frank Lampard is still the manager. He is. Frank Lampard still calling the shots. at Carrow Road, and he is going down to the Championship. He still wants to be Chelsea manager, which is a little bit ambitious, to be honest with you. But they were 11 points better off than Dean Smith, and they actually came quite close to survival. They were already relegated by the final day, despite only being 2 points behind Watford come the end of play, but still, it was a much better effort. 11 points better than what Smith got. They came 19, 36 points, 10 wins, 6 draws. Even the goal difference was much better. This time minus 22 compared to minus 43 or whatever it was. Let's have a little look in more detail, see how they got on. It still wasn't a great start. They lost to Arsenal, lost to Man United, drew with Everton, beaten by Leicester, and then a good couple of wins. They beat Palace in the league, Huddersfield in the cup, and Newcastle away from home. Probably a relegation rival. Then there was a little bit of a dip, couple of wins again. They beat Manchester City 2-1 at home, just like they did the last time they were in the Premier League. Once again, Kenny McLean scoring. They followed that up with a big win over Aston Villa. They beat Watford, they beat Burnley. They beat Newcastle again, they beat Spurs, another big win at Carrow Road. They beat Chelsea at Carrow Road 2-0. And they ended the season with a 2-1 win at Turf Moor against Burnley. But still, it wasn't enough to keep Norwich in the Premier League. But they came so much closer. Todd Cantwell, the star player, Max Aarons was good as well. Even Ben Gibson, he was pretty decent as well. 9 goals from Todd Cantwell made him the top scorer. Slight issue with goals here. I mean, Timu Pukki only getting 6 is a massive issue. But while Norwich are going down to the Championship just like they are under Dean Smith, under Frank Lampard, things seem to be a lot better. But the end result has been the same. They've been relegated once again to the Championship. Now we're going to go back to Dean Smith, obviously going down to the Championship, but he's still employed. Let's see how Dean Smith gets on in the Championship. Can he bring Norwich straight back up? Let's find out. Right, we haven't made it to the end of the Championship season under Dean Smith because Dean Smith has been sacked. It is the 11th of October 2022. Norwich City are 18th in the Sky Bet Championship, and they sacked Dean Smith on the 24th of September. He lasted 1 year and 60 days in the job, and Norwich are performing terribly in the Championship. You can see here, after 14 games, they are sitting in 18th place with just 14 points on the board. They're in a relegation battle, to be honest with you. They're only 2 points clear there of Bolton in 22nd. It's been awful from Dean Smith. Did he make any interesting signings? Let's have a little look. I mean, Jayden Bogle at 10 million quid is quite an expensive sign. You got Barry Douglas, the former Leeds left back. Romain Sawyers on loan from West Brom. A few solid players. Ibrahim Amadou, decent option. But in the end, it has ended in tears for Dean Smith very early on. For it to be October and Norwich not even in playoff contention is pretty awful. I mean, it's not a good glimpse into the future for Norwich fans under Dean Smith. All Frank Lampard's got to do is last longer than Smith, and it's going to prove, kind of, that Norwich were wrong. Can Frank Lampard at least make it until the end of the Championship season? I mean, if he gets close to promotion, it'll just prove that maybe this was a massive mistake, or it'll just prove that it's just football management, it's only a game, and maybe we should just go outside and get some fresh air. One of the two. Tell you what, let's just look at the Frank Lampard simulation. Let's go to Frank Lampard in the Championship. Let's see if he can do better than Dean Smith. Dean Smith, who has been sacked by September. He's already out of the job. The dream is dead for Dean Smith and Norwich City. Can Frank Lampard do better? Let's find out. Right, here we are, the 12th of June 2023. We have made it to the end of the Championship season, and Frank Lampard has done so much better than Dean Smith. For starters, he's still in the job. He's lasted 2 years compared to Dean Smith getting sacked after about just a year. Frank Lampard is still in the dugout, and he is a Championship winner. He has finished top of the pops in the second tier of English football, and he's already favoured personnel at Carrow Road. Not only that, it's been a record equalling season for Norwich City. 106 points in the Championship, equalling the record set by Reading in 2006. Promotion never in doubt. They were well clear of Bournemouth in third. Bournemouth in third there got 81 points. Then you've got Leeds and Norwich both getting more than 100. Amazing season from those two clubs who were relegated shockingly. But Norwich, top of the pops, 33 wins out of 46 games. That is an incredible tally. They drew 7 and lost 6. Goal difference 42. But to get 106 points is quite frankly astonishing. Let's check his players out. Let's see who the stars were. Todd Cantwell, yet again, 12 goals, 10 assists. The main man for Frank Lampard. Let's have a little look at his signings. I can see Carl Darlow there. He spent a fair bit of money actually. Just shy of 50 million quid, but he did bring in 52 million pounds himself. Getting 29 million for Max Aarons there. It just looks like Frank Lampard's been able to get better players in. Is that just because Frank Lampard's got more pulling power? I mean, look at who he signed. Carl Darlow, Marcel Halstenberg, Joe Roden, Taith Chong, Steven Sessegnon, Roman Perard, Matthias Jensen from Brentford, Adam Armstrong, Fraser Forster and Jack O'Connell. Some incredible signings there for Norwich City. So much better than what Dean Smith was able to do in the other simulation. So based on this, it's no wonder that Frank Lampard's done better. In reality, Norwich have got Dean Smith. He's the man they've appointed. Is it going to be the right decision? Based on this, it's Frank Lampard they should be appointing. I mean, they should be appointing someone else if they want to survive in the Premier League. But here, Frank Lampard, he's gone down in a bit more style than Dean Smith, and he's came straight back up. Will appointing Dean Smith be a decision that Delia Smith rues in 12 months' time? That is the end of this experiment. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.